going on, guys? It's Cole, and the Driftveil City Dragapults are back for Season 11. So originally, I was not going to participate this season. However, one of the coaches dropped out literally like 4 days before the draft, so I didn't have a lot of time to prep. So before we get into this week's teams, let's look at the coaches participating this season. Then we'll go over our draft. Also, any coaches who post videos will be linked in the description. So first off, we have the Buffalo Bidoofs. We have your Driftveil City Dragapults. The El Paso Electros. The Mid-Valley Meowths, with who last season I kept almost calling Mid-City for some reason. Don't know why, just forgot they were Mid-Valley. But anyway, Paris Saint-Germignon, the New Commish, the Phoenix Primals, the Scotland Stouts, the Seattle Shiny Sylveons, the Simi Winnie Sears, the Sin City Squirtles, the Tokyo Togekiss, and her dad, the Vero Beach Volcaronas. Now, with that out of the way, let's introduce the team. First off, worth 17 points, we drafted Garchomp. Next, from the 14-point tier, we drafted Iron Treads. After that, from the 15-point tier, Therian formed Tornadus. The next round, from the 10-point tier, we drafted Sinistra. Next, from the 12-point tier, we drafted the luchador himself, Hawlucha. After that, we drafted once again from the 10-point tier, Comfey. And then we picked the Mons that we can terrestrialize, as only Pokemon worth 9 points or less can Terra. First off, we drafted Dragalge from the 8-point tier. Then it was Weezing from the 5-point tier. And in the last two rounds, we drafted Basculin and Volbeat from the 2 and 1-point tiers, respectively. Alright, so as you can see, we are going up against our perennial opponent, Andrew, and PSG. We faced him pretty sure every single season that we've been in here. So the Pokemon he drafted are Rapid Strike Urshifu, Archaludon, Glimmora, Gardevoir, Meowscarada, Charizard, Fanrotom, Female D.C.D, Luxray, and Rabsca. So the team that I'm bringing this week are Garchomp, Basculin, Iron Treads, Tornadus, Hawlucha, and Dragalge. The team I expect him to bring is Urshifu, Meowscarada, Glimmora, Gardevoir, Archaludon, and Charizard, but obviously that's the team he's bringing. So, basically, Garchomp is kind of a tank chomp. It's got different spread of EVs. Iron Treads is max attack, max speed, obviously choice banded. Dragalge is I wrote it down. 84 in HP, max special attack, and 172 in speed. It's got obviously the specs: Flip Turn, Draco, Sludge Bomb, and Terra Ground, Terra Blast. Basculin is basically the Fear strat, so Focus Sash, Endeavor, and then the other one was Quick Attack for Rattata, but it's actually Aqua Jet for us. So we lead off with Torn, and he leads off with Glimmora. So I start off by clicking Knock Off, even though I know it'll activate Toxic Debris, but not too worried considering I have two flying types, a Steel type with Rapid Spin, and a grounded Poison type. So Toxic Spikes really aren't that big of a deal. So we knock off his Damp Rock, showing that he has Rain Dance, which he immediately uses. Rain Dance will help Electroshock not be a 2-turn move, and also power up Urshifu's water moves. The next turn, expecting Stealth Rocks, I decide to go for a U-turn, because if he does go for Stealth Rocks, I can switch into Hawlucha and immediately lock him into Stealth Rocks, forcing a switch. So yep, we switch out into Hawlucha, as he absolutely goes for Stealth Rocks. So I will easily lock him into that. Once I lock him into his Stealth Rocks, I then go for a U-turn as he hard swaps Glimmora out into Archaludon. So then I go into my Iron Treads. On the following turn, I Volt Switch back out into Tornadus, activating Stamina as he goes for a +1 Body Press into Tornadus. After the Body Press, I then turn it back out into Iron Treads, once again activating Stamina as he goes for a soft Flash Cannon. On the following turn, I go for an Earthquake, knowing I'm not going to knock him out, but just wanting to do as much damage as I can, as he knocks Iron Treads out with a +3 Body Press. I then send Tornadus back in and click Icy Wind twice. Once doing about half of his remaining HP as he goes for an Electro Shot outside of the rain. So hopefully this Icy Wind does kill. I think it might be a range, but If it was, we get the range and knock out Archaludon. He then sends out Gardevoir, who traces Regenerator. He goes for a soft Mystical Fire, showing that, unsurprisingly, he's Choice Scarfed, as I go for a knockoff to knock off his Scarf. I then U-turn out into Basculin, sacking it off because I didn't get the rocks up, so my Focus Sash is useless. So Basculin dies to a Moonblast. I then send out Hawlucha and knock out Gardevoir with Brave Bird. He then sends out Meowscarada, not realizing that I am Choice Scarfed, who then also falls to a Brave Bird. He then sends out Charizard, the only Pokemon on his team that can Terra. Well, on his team that's in the battle anyway. I go for another Brave Bird, doing about 65-70% of his health before he knocks Hawlucha out with a Flamethrower, and revealing he has a Life Orb. I then go out into Dragalge, absorbing the Toxic Spikes, who could have Terra'd, but I didn't think I needed it, forgetting Charizard can learn Dragon Pulse, because then Dragalge dies to a critical hit Dragon Pulse. So that was a wasted turn, and a wasted Mon. So that leaves me in a 2v3 deficit. I then send out Tornadus to knock out Charizard with a knockoff. He then sends out Glimmora, who takes a small amount of damage from an Icy Wind before setting the rain up once again. I then U-turn into Garchomp, once again activating Toxic Debris. Who gets poisoned by the spikes as he goes for a weak Mortal Spin, taking more damage from my Rough Skin and Rocky Helmet combo than he did to Garchomp with the Mortal Spin. On the following turn, Garchomp knocks out Glimmora, leaving only Urshifu on his side. I need the damage, so I stay in, as Urshifu knocks out Garchomp with a rain-boosted 2-hit Surging Strikes, taking just over 50% of his health from the Rocky Helmet and Rough Skin. However, on the following turn, I then send out Tornadus, praying to God he's not Choice Scarfed, and he's not. So with the rain up, I can freely click Bleak Wind Storm that will not miss. So I knock out Urshifu, winning me game 1 with 1 Pokemon remaining. So I will see you guys in game 2. Alright, so in game 2, we are leading off with Iron Treads, hoping he leads off with Glimmora. But instead, he leads off with Gardevoir. So obviously, since he can't trace Quark Drive, Trace doesn't pop. However, it does, because I know he has Mystical Fire, and I can't Volt Switch out, because he'll do decent damage to me with Mystical Fire. So I hard swap into Torn, activating Trace to trace the Regenerator, and taking a soft Mystical Fire, which lowers my special attack. The following turn, I once again knock off his Choice Scarf, taking, again, another Mystical Fire, which lowers my special attack first by a second stage. The following turn, I go for a soft Bleak Wind, so I get hit with a Moonblast. After that, we both swap, him hard swapping into Charizard, me U-turning out into Basculin. Because I hope I can actually do my strat. So he Terra Steals. I don't, but I click Endeavor as he uses Dragon Pulse, which knocks me down to 22 HP, not even knocking me to Sash. But then I get the Endeavor off, and with the Aqua Jet, Basculin knocks out Charizard. Following turn, he sends out Glimmora and goes for Mortal Spin, surprisingly not knocking me out, considering I have 0 defense EVs. 0 defense IVs. So I just figured, hey, I'll click Endeavor again, even though he's not going to kill me. Or even though I thought he was going to. So anyway, I knock Glimmora down to 3 HP. And then Basculin dies to the poison from the Mortal Spin. So I then send out Tornadus, who easily knocks out Glimmora with a U-turn. Sorry, not Tornadus, Hawlucha. I wrote a script and didn't even look at the script. So Hawlucha knocks out Glim with U-turn as I switch into Iron Treads. He sends out Urshifu. I then proceed to knock out Urshifu with a critical hit Choice Banded Earthquake. He then sends out Meowscarada, who goes for a knockoff, turning itself into a pure dark type, meaning it doesn't resist my Earthquake. So I do about 75% of its health with a non-choice band Earthquake. He then goes for a non-stab critical hit Flower Trick, which, because it's not stab anymore, does not knock me out. So I'm able to knock him out with a Rapid Spin and boost my speed and get rid of the spikes. He then sends out Gardevoir, who gets knocked out by a third Earthquake. After that, all he has left is Archaludon, who takes about 76% damage from an Earthquake before knocking out Iron Treads, who more than did its job with a +1 body press, before it's knocked out the following turn by Hawlucha, ending the battle and starting off the season with a win. Alright, so next week we go up against Jules and the Seattle Shiny Sylveons. That battle will be taking place this Friday and will be on Showdown due to issues, since it was just easier for her. So I will see you guys for that battle. Thank you. Later. Bye.